Welcome to True Stories of Human Trafficking. Today's talk is a departure from our stories of people who have been trafficked. Instead, we're going to learn how we can keep our kids from becoming victims. Every time you watch a video on this channel, you are raising awareness and fighting modern slavery. Thank you for your support, and please comment and share.
I want today's story to be focused on a positive outcome, and in order to do that, we have to cover where we stand right now in terms of victimization of our children. It's a heartbreaking reality that children around the world are at risk of being trafficked for sex. Last year, tech companies reported over 45 million online photos and videos of children being sexually abused, more than double what they found the previous year. It's hard sometimes to visualize large numbers, so take the state of California and envision every single person in the state being a kid who has been sexually assaulted online. Every single person. And now add 5 million more. That's how many kids have been abused this year. Our kids seem to always have access to a screen. Their phones, laptops, gaming devices, any app, televisions, screens that bring predators right into the privacy of our homes. And we have to face it, our kids are not safe. Our children are vulnerable. The internet was by far the most dominant business model sex traffickers used to solicit buyers of commercial sex. They were used in 87.7% of sex trafficking cases, and that's in 2018. And also the most common method for luring victims, used in 43% of sex trafficking cases in 2018. So what do we do about it? We start with defining our vision of what we want for our kids instead of fear and vulnerability. We focus on the incredible wonder and possibility that our children have and need to be nurtured, and we celebrate the positive outcomes of the childhood experience when our values and priorities support a safe world for our next generation. We can imagine a world where our children are safe and confident. Sex traffickers prey on the vulnerable. They look for kids with little supervision, whether it's online or in real life. So let's flip that script for a minute. Let's imagine a different reality for our kids. In the imagined world that we all want to be in, children aren't vulnerable. They're informed and empowered. Our kids would grow up in a safe and nurturing environment where they're protected from harm. They would be supported by strong and caring communities. Parents and caregivers would be empowered with the knowledge and tools they need to protect their children from trafficking and exploitation. And governments and organizations would prioritize the safety and well-being of children, investing in education, infrastructure, healthcare, and other critical services that help prevent trafficking. In this world, children would be seen as individuals with their own hopes, dreams, and potential, not as commodities to be bought and sold. They would be encouraged to pursue their passions and interests. They would understand their value as a creation and grow up to be adults that pursue their passions, their interests, and contribute to their communities in meaningful ways. Today, that seems like a distant dream, but every step we take towards this vision, whether it's through advocacy, education, or community engagement, it brings us closer to a world where all children are safe, confident, and celebrated. So here are some ways to keep your kids safe. Number one, education. Parents, educate your children about sex trafficking. Don't leave sex education to schools and teachers, because your kids may be receiving information that will make them even more vulnerable when they're sexualized. As parents, it's our job to remind kids that they are loved and valued. It's our job to let them know that there are people in this world who are so selfish that they will try to turn them into a commodity to be sold. I know this is ugly and we would like to ignore it, but it's a reality that's going on anyway. So unless we take action, it could happen to your own kid. Educate your children about what sex trafficking is and how it can happen to them. And if you don't know how to do that, keep watching. That's what this channel is all about. Be age appropriate and use clear language that your child can understand, but teach them about the warning signs of trafficking and what to do if they feel unsafe. Number 2, monitor their screens. Most traffickers use social media and gaming and any online platform or app to recruit their victims. Be aware of what your child is doing online and monitor their use. If they like to be alone and insist on being alone for long periods of time with their phone or their screens. Set clear rules and guidelines around online safety. If adults can be duped online, how much more are kids at risk? A 12-year-old girl joins a chat with a boy who liked her picture on Instagram. She checked out all of his photos, playing football, skateboarding, looking great at the beach. Oh, and he's 14. An older boy showing interest in a 12-year-old girl. They talk back and forth for weeks, and soon he defines their relationship. You're my girlfriend now. You're so special. You're beautiful. Maybe they're not getting that reinforcement at home. The next step in the process is to either use sextortion or to meet them in person so they can take them away. Sextortion. Now that you're my girl, I need you to take your clothes off for me. Now the predator has done their homework. They find out everything they need to know online to blackmail your child. They know where they go to school. They know who their friends are, who their teachers are. And once they get that naked picture, game over. You meet me at the mall or everyone gets this picture. Or now you'll make me another video, a sexual video for me, or I'll tell your teachers, I'll tell your parents, or I'll hurt your parents. Virtual blackmail is a powerful tool of traffickers. Or, hey, we have to meet. Will your mom drop you at the mall? Cool. See you at the food court. Of course, boyfriend is a predator and they can be male or female, working with other deviants to take your kid. Number 3, build strong relationships with your children and get in their business. That's a big one. Building strong relationships with your children can help them feel safe and supported. Talk to your child regularly. Listen to their concerns and be a safe and trustworthy person for them to turn to if they have questions. So don't judge them. Number 4, teach your kids how to say no and set boundaries. Predators rely on a kid's lack of self-confidence, and we love polite kids. I was raised in Texas, and manners are big, and I carried that out onto my own kid. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. Please and thank you. Absolutely mandatory. Respect your elders, but have the conversation with them that when an adult makes them feel uncomfortable, they can respectfully say no. They can politely excuse themselves and leave a situation. Or if they think that they're being victimized in any way, it's okay to scream and leave. Teach your child how to say no and set boundaries when someone is making them feel uncomfortable. This can include saying no to physical contact or saying no to requests for personal information, and definitely saying no to meeting someone in person. Number 5, no secrets. Have you ever caught yourself spoiling a kid and saying something like, I know your mom doesn't like McDonald's, but this will be our little secret? Wrong. Teaching a kid to keep secrets from their parents just sets them up for a predator to come along and groom them, because teaching a kid to keep a secret is a predator's #1 goal. Encourage them to speak up. Encourage your child to speak up if they feel uncomfortable or unsafe. Teach them that it's okay to say no, keeping secrets is wrong, and that they should tell a trusted adult if anyone asks them to keep a secret. We're not teaching them to be rude, we're teaching them to be safe. Number 6, be vigilant in public places. Traffickers can approach children in public places such as shopping malls, parks, or playgrounds. And you may have heard me say that most victims know their trafficker, so why do we have to worry about public places? because the standard operating procedure is to catfish the kid, pretend to be somebody they're not, act like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and then arrange to meet them in the public place, like a sporting event. They're so good at this that your kid wouldn't even think about telling you because their new boyfriend or girlfriend is a big secret. And then they go to the bathroom at the sporting event and never come back. You hear about elevated cases of trafficking at the Super Bowl because of this. This is why. Be vigilant and keep an eye on your children when you're out in public. Number 7, if you haven't already talked to your kids about digital safety, you can rest assured they are not being safe. It's not something we should expect our kids to know intuitively. Don't get discouraged. They will probably act bored by the conversation, but they will pick up more than you would give them credit for. They'll be dramatic and roll their eyes and say they don't want to hear about it, but they'll understand it's important. If you ever had to give a birds and the bees talk, you know what I'm talking about. I waited until I was in the car with my son on a long road trip and he had nowhere to go. I'm going to leave links in the description to lots of resources, starters that can help you talk about digital safety, websites you can go to, apps that you can download yourself to protect your kids from this threat. Thank you for watching these videos. I think this one may be the most important one because our kids. So let's protect them. See you next time.